I welcome all of you to this very, very important occasion when we launch our long-awaited national mobilization program, beginning with the launch of our online membership registration. As you are aware, the last 3 years of our political journey has been characterized by consistent attacks, false and unfounded allegations, envy, hate, terrible insults, blackmail, coup attempts, threats of elimination of our leaders, and malicious media onslaught that threaten to destabilize the FDC. And the Deputy President spoke a little about the involvement of the media in propagating negativity. I hope that as you go out of here to your media houses, you are going to say to the world that we have one and only one FDC, and the FDC that resides here in Najanankumbi. All these disturbances, we all united by the resolve to defend and protect our party constitution, spared no effort to thwart the attacks by our detractors. The internal bickering in the party was decisively resolved and permanently so by the election of new office bearers that took place in the National Delegates Conference of the 6th of October 2023. This underlined the fact that nobody, and I want to repeat, nobody, no matter their political size, will be allowed to meddle with our constitution in order to destabilize the party for selfish political, financial, and any other gain. I congratulate you all, members of the National Executive Committee, and our leaders across the country who successfully participated in that election, which was viciously fought by negative internal forces. Those who are dissatisfied with the outcome or boycotted the election to seize the opportunity to get elected at the earliest time or in the National Delegates Conference that will be scheduled for elections just before the 8th of October 2028. So they have got a long way to make, but we are going to get there. We are determined to complete the internal elections. Immediately the National Council, acting on behalf of the National Delegates Conference, extends the term of the current Electoral Commission to decisively clean up the party. I will now speak a few words regarding the failures of the NRM government. The party in power has glaringly, to everybody to see, failed in its promise for all to have prosperity. This has remained a far-fetched dream. The ever-rising levels of poverty, especially among 80% of the rural poor communities, continue to be an eyesore of Uganda. Endemic corruption in all institutions of government has reduced the country to a begging nation with a debt burden of 96.1 trillion Uganda shillings, 5.3 billion US dollars, which is 52% of GDP, setting our country on the path to economic crisis. The Museveni regime has lost direction in addressing the drivers of creation of employment opportunities, especially for the thousands graduating from universities and colleges this year. Unemployment rate, especially affecting the youth, is forecast to be 3.39% in 2026. This is a big embarrassment to a government that has been in power for almost 40 years now. The exploitation of the rural poor by the well-connected urban wealthy has for many years now deprived the least privileged communities of their most treasured possession, and that is land. And this is affecting our communities here in Buganda, in a large part of the northern part of the country, and in parts of the eastern part of this country. Abuse of human rights has continued to glare at us as a country, taking the opposition as its enemies. We have seen blatant disrespect for human life. We have experienced people being thrown into jail without trial, or even staying in jail for extended periods without trial. This is common in the politics of this country. The current environment, political environment, remains precarious, with Mr. Museveni dubiously holding on to power with no sign of preparation for a smooth transition. This uncertainty is very dangerous for the stability of this country. I challenge the head of state to demonstrate his being conscious of the fact that he will be at the helm of this country and not forever, and that Ugandan as a nation will exist long after all of us have departed. Him that he should have a legacy to protect. And if Mr. Museveni wants to go as with a legacy of a rotten dictatorship, then let him continue doing things the way he is doing them today. My dear friends, I wish to confirm the party's resolve and participation in the general elections of 2026. As you are aware, we are processing candidates for this very purpose, and this activity is in high gear. We have, however, need to pay attention to the processes that have characterized previous general elections and draw lessons from how they have been managed. We must act smart at every twist and turn of the next election. The reluctance of the ruling party to consider electoral reforms to ensure free, fair, and credible elections in 2026 is a matter that the party must concern itself about. Our call to the Museveni administration is for it, for once, to do justice to this country and take this country to an election in 2026 that will be free and fair. While the country has no option but rely on the opposition, internal disharmony has engulfed all opposition political parties in the country, including our own. As has been observed earlier, we have successfully managed our internal contradictions and are on the path to progress. There can only be one cause and beneficiary of these internal conflicts, and this is the current regime in power. I view that this is happening because Mr. Museveni has largely remained unchallenged ever since the last elections and has utilized this free time to stimulate internal discontent. As you are aware, my friends, previously after every election in which the FDC has claimed victory, that we have been robbed, we as the leading opposition party in parliament, together with the party leadership and activists, put pressure on the junta to give accountability for the elections. This took the form of court action, civic action,